Hey guys, I'm Andrew McCoomb. Welcome to Web3 TV. In today's video, I'm with Rami James from Ultra.io, and we're going to discuss the rise of Ultra.io and their blockchain-based PC gaming distribution platform. But before we do, make sure you register to watch every episode of Web3 TV here, where we share inspiring stories of all things Web3, making a difference to the world. All sorted? Okay, let's go. Rami, you've had 25 years experience in the product development and startup industry, most recently having helped build and lead the blockchain team at Ultra to build their blockchain-based PC game distribution platform. You're also the producer of Ultra Chill, which brings easy to understand explanations of cutting-edge blockchain technology to communities. Ultra Serves, and also co-founded, built and launched the biggest wallet and its constellation technology within the EISIO community of networks. So tell us, how did this incredible journey begin?
I've been involved in startups for about the last 20, 22, 25 years. I really like technology. I like the idea that as we advance as humans, right, that like we come up with new ways to do stuff. It's like the cutting edge. And I think that the fact that who we are as a people today and who we were 30 years ago, we're not the same, right? Like the way that like we view the world, the way that we like do everything, super different. And I'm deeply fascinated by that. And as I migrated into like my adulthood and started like working, I understood that we get to choose whether we participate in that. And that's really what like startup culture is, where you go and you say, I have a new idea that nobody else has done before. Let's go build it and see if like other people are interested in it. And I think that that's a really interesting thing to participate in. And I was working in a startup in 2017. I'd been working there for a few years, a lot of really cool people, a lot of really interesting developers that I was working with. And my brother, Nathan James, he works as the head of developer relations at the EOS Network Foundation now. And he was interested in blockchain technology, and he had built a wallet out of necessity. Like the group, the open source group that was launching the network, they didn't have a wallet. He did. He built one, and they used it. And very quickly, there was a lot of users, and he needed somebody to come and help, lead the company and lead the product. Like, what was like the product vision of it? So I came in, and we did that for a few years. It was super difficult. Like when you talk about blockchain technology, you're talking about like learning a bunch of different concepts really quickly. You have to learn the technology at like a really deep level if you want to build technology on a platform. And we had to like do that. And then it was my first time leading a startup, right? So I had to learn how to do that at the same time, which meant a lot of like finance stuff, a lot of legal stuff. And like, if you're talking like legal and finance in the blockchain space, whoa, are you in for a wild ride? So we did that for a few years. And eventually we were approached by a company called Ultra, Ultra.io, that were interested in leveraging a lot of the technology and concepts that we had been working on for years already, to build a platform for gamers. Like, people wanted to use the concepts of open finance, of NFTs, for things like game licenses, for DLCs, for in-game items, for et cetera, like everything that you can think of in blockchain, but for gamers. And me and my brother, we are avid gamers. Like, that's something that like we've been doing since we were kids, and the idea that we could participate in both blockchain and gaming was super, super appealing. So we joined, and it has been, in 3 weeks, it'll be 3 years that I'm at Ultra. We have built some, frankly, amazing technology. When you're talking about, how many transactions per second can you do on Ethereum, you're talking a few dozen. At Ultra, we're talking like 12,500 every second. The transactions are all free. Accounts are all free. When you like want to go buy an NFT, like you can do it with your credit card, you can do it with like the tokens that are in your wallet. The process is super easy. The vision here is always how to make it as easy, as like seamless, and as like comfortable for the users. And then from like a technological perspective, how do you make it like as transparent and open and free as possible? And like all of those things in combination make for a really interesting work environment, and also like a lot of challenges that, if you're somebody that likes challenges, you feed off of it, right? So here I am.
Wow. Sounds impressive, mate. So if I was just to back the truck up a little and simplify it even more, and I guess give you a chance to give me your elevator pitch, what is Ultra? So you mentioned it's a platform for gamers that simplifies the whole process, but what else is it? Like give me the elevator pitch.
The elevator pitch is basically, if you've bought a game on Steam, you played the game, then you stop playing the game, and it just sits in your library, kind of sucks, right? You want to be able to resell it. You want to be able to access the open market. You got some like a special sword in the game, but you don't need it anymore. You want to resell it on the open market. You want to actually like bring value back into your play experience. That's what we're doing, guys. You should come and play with us.
So is it specifically for gamers, or is the applications applicable for other industries?
So that's what's actually really interesting, that we're building everything that's appropriate for corporate enterprise grade level technology to be deployed on our platform. There's a lot of very specific requirements for games, which apply to all kinds of different stuff. So for example, if you're talking about geolocation, so the cost of a game in the United States and the cost of the game in Australia, where you guys are, not the same, right? So how do you deal with that at like a network level? Well, that's like stuff that needs to be built, and we went and we built that. But that's applicable to many, many different things, not just to games. And if you're talking about, like how do you build complex permission structures, like who has access to what? Like you're going to have like an administrator that accesses everything, and then you have somebody who works in finance who's allowed to move money around, and then you have somebody who's working in marketing who needs to be able to mint NFTs as part of their like ongoing marketing strategy, but you don't want them to have the same access as the finance team. Like that stuff is like really hard to build, and we built all that stuff, and that's great for games. It's great for gamers, great for developers and publishers, but there's a lot of wide scale application for all of that technology.
And if you take the step back before they approached you to work with them, what was their inspiration behind Ultra? What was the fundamental reason they wanted to create it in the first place?
So the founders, who are great guys, I really like them, named David Hansen and Nicholas Gillot. They work as co-CEOs, and it's not their first rodeo. So when they were living in China many years ago, they're actually from France and from Belgium, but they lived in China for, I think, 7 years or 8 years, if I remember correctly. And they built a local gaming system. So local means in China, 1.2 billion people. It was quite successful, and they were bought by a really large partner in China named Kingsoft. And they have a lot of experience in gaming. Like they were professional gamers before that. And like if you're starting to see a pattern, like it's gaming, gaming, gaming. So when David was starting to be interested in blockchain technology in like 2015, 2016, they started talking about building a platform like what we actually ended up building. And it's just a culmination of, to my mind, a career focused on bringing play to people.
Very cool. And Ultra Chill, what's the difference?
So Ultra Chill, because I'm a technologist and I'm really enthusiastic about it, I try really hard to explain what I do to people that don't understand what I do. So I know that that's, something that like we do in our like common life, you know, like at home with my family and my friends, try to explain it to my kids, not always successfully, but I do. And it also happened in the context of the people that I was working with. So, you know, when I was leading the product at the blockchain team at Ultra, I found that, you know, when I was talking to marketing or when I was talking to the biz dev teams, there was a lot of stuff that I needed to explain to them. So, you know, what are NFTs? If you have somebody that's new to the company and they don't understand, it was very often me that was explaining to them exactly what it is. And we came across this problem very often of when you're talking to gamers that are vehemently against blockchain and NFTs, that we have to explain to them, hey, listen, like this is a technology, like it can be used for awful stuff, but it can be used for really cool stuff. Here's the really cool stuff. And I really cared about that because like I put years of my life into building technology for like a really altruistic, positive reason. And to have people that were really against it, I wanted to convince them that like these were the positive sides of this technology. And when I migrated away from the product team into the marketing team because I had an interest in speaking to people about the technology, like being that translation layer between the tech side and the, I guess, like the people side, right? And I found that when you are trying to like explain stuff to people, there's like a bunch of different strategies for doing that. So you have like short form content, like when you're talking about like building Twitter threads, or you're talking about building I don't know, like medium form content where you're like building a Medium article or a blog article or something like that, where you're like explaining the content, which a lot of people don't read. They want it to be explained to them. So I started explaining to them on videos, explaining the vision and explaining like, these are the people that are working at Ultra. They're really nice. They're really smart. They know a lot. Here's what they know. And that's where Ultra Chill came from, because my interest was largely to be that translation layer from internal to external, so that our vision could be explained to the people that we believed it would benefit most.
Wow. Mate, you sound like Web3 TV. That's what we're about, translating the whole jargon into something that's easy to understand. So no wonder we're on the same level, mate.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, how do both of them make a difference to the world?
Both of what?
Ultra and Ultra Chill.
Well, how do they make a difference to the world at large? I think that the direction that gaming has gone over the last 20 years has largely not been very positive. We've talked about this in a few previous episodes, that especially if you're talking about, you know, like large scale gaming companies, their focus has been about value extraction. They're talking about, you know, how much can we charge for a game? How many more bucks can we siphon out of people through like microtransactions or extra DLCs or any of that stuff? And as a gamer, I find all of that stuff frankly offensive. And I want a better, more fair way for people to play. And I think that blockchain technology, Web3 technology, NFTs, they provide really smart, fair technological solutions that are simply not available in any other mechanism.
Very good. So fairness is a big value of yours, and not being
Absolutely.
taken advantage of is probably another one.
Nobody likes to get screwed, right?
No, exactly. Very cool. So why should I use Ultra for blockchain game distribution?
Well, if you're talking about game distribution from like a developer perspective, it is a headache to build blockchain games right now. So very few people really know about this stuff as much as we do. When you're talking about building a game, you're talking typically, traditionally, a few different layers. So you have like the front end layer, which the users, like the client that the users play with, right? And then you have like the backend layer, which is like the database where the data is stored. And then you have, sometimes you'll have like CDNs or things like that, which pass large files between the users, and you'll have like some infrastructure, right? And when you're talking about blockchain, then you're talking about extra layers of data manipulation. So building that stuff can be quite difficult, quite challenging. And doing it right it's an iterative process. So at Ultra, we've gone through that iterative process, and our focus is on providing developers with solutions to the problems that they don't even know that they have. So like if you have a developer that wants to query transaction data, which is part of the history of a blockchain, most Web2 developers don't even know that that's a thing. So like, for example, a blockchain is a state machine. And what that actually means is that when you query the blockchain, you only query the current state. So if you like go to the Bitcoin Explorer or whatever, it'll tell you like how much money you have in your account right now. But it's not going to tell you how much money you had in your account a year ago, because it doesn't have that data anymore. So how do you get that data? You have to use a secondary service. And like building out all of those things, like querying historical data, caching it, making sure that it's accessible in a fast way is really hard. How do you store keys securely, which are going to be doing transactions for your game? It's really hard. You need like hardware wallets, which are like built into your server cluster. And like most game developers, they don't want to deal with any of that stuff. That's like a huge headache. They like want to build their game. They want to build their game. They want to make something fun for people. So the value proposition at Ultra is we're going to provide you one SDK, which allows you to deploy to our platform, allows you to like mint NFTs, allows you to query, historical data. It's going to allow you to like do leaderboards and chat with other players and like all of that stuff. Just one SDK, and like off you go. Go have fun, go build your game, have access to all the good stuff of like blockchain technology without any of the headache of blockchain technology. And like at a really high level for players, the proposition is the same. Like you get like access to all the cool stuff, which is allowed through NFTs without any of the headache of like managing your own keys or paying for transactions or buying Ethereum so you can go like have enough gas to like pay for the transaction, which 2 days ago was $12, but now it's $50 because who knows why, right? So like all of that stuff that you like don't want to deal with, at Ultra, we got you. Like we'll deal with it.
Sounds incredible. You've done all the hard work and simplified it for everyone else. So for a developer who's out there, or even a gamer who wants to get started, where do they start with Ultra?
Go to ultra.io, contact us, and you'll either end up with me or somebody else on the biz dev team. They're all super nice, and we are happy to help you get started.
Well, Rami, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people listening to this who are feeling very inspired by your journey, also your passion and obviously your purpose behind it, which is really about fairness to the gamers in particular. But let's be honest, mate, fairness is probably a core value of yours, so it probably goes across the board. So hence why you've also got the passion with blockchain and everything that's being developed in Web3. So, mate, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on Web3 TV, and hopefully we'll see you back many times soon.
It's been a genuine pleasure.
Well, there it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Web3 TV episode. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. And remember, if you'd like to watch every episode of Web3 TV, visit the link below or subscribe to our channel. And remember to hit the bell icon so that we can notify you every time a new episode is released. I'm Andrew McComb, and I look forward to sharing more inspiring Web3 TV episodes, making a difference to the world. I'll see you soon.